This woman willingly served 5 years in prison for her boyfriend. Just because he's a prosecutor, she didn't want to ruin his career. During the 7 years they were in love, she worked several jobs every day to earn money for her boyfriend, and cooked for her future in-laws every day. She took care of the family. In the end, Do-hoon got into the prosecutor's office. She thought her life was about to start, but fate had a different plan. On this day, they were driving in a car. Eugene confessed his love to Do-hoon. Just then, a truck came up ahead. Do-hoon turned the steering wheel in a hurry, but he was able to stop the truck without any danger. Suddenly, Eugene remembered that the car had hit something while traveling. Do-hoon was about to go down to take a look. While he was looking around to see what he hit, he turned around and bumped into something. Eugene inside the car was worried. He got out of the car to check it out. Suddenly, Do-hoon rushed out. He told her that he hit a trash can. Eugene was relieved. Then Do-hoon rushed back to the car with her. Eugene wanted to call the insurance company. Do-hoon excused himself and said that there's no need to bother with an old car. Then they drove off in their car. After they left, a passerby found a pregnant woman at the scene of the accident. Do-hoon took Eugene home. Do-hoon drove back the same way. When he arrived at the scene, he saw that the police and doctors had come. The pregnant woman was still alive or dead. He was terrified. It turns out that when he got out of the car to check, he realized that he had hit a pregnant woman. In order to avoid liability and affect his reputation, he lied. At that moment, Min Hyuk, the pregnant woman's boyfriend, was on his knees in pain. He vowed to find the driver. Unbeknownst to him, the person he was looking for was right behind her. When she got home, Do-hoon washed her hands frantically. Images of the accident scene kept flashing in her mind. On the other side, due to the late arrival of the pregnant woman, both the baby and the adult could not be saved. Min Hyuk told his secretary to find the culprit no matter what. The next day, the secretary went to the police station to inquire about the situation, but there were no cameras at the scene of the accident. He could only check the traffic from the perimeter surveillance. At that moment, Eugene came to Do-hoon's house. She asked her future father-in-law for the car keys to fix the car. Unbeknownst to her, her fixing of the car gave the police a clue. Soon after, the police came here. They asked if she was driving the car on the 12th. Eugene remembered that Do-hoon said last night that he didn't want to be late for work tomorrow, so she said she drove the car herself. The police said she was involved in a hit-and-run accident. This made her very confused, because her boyfriend told her that she hit a trash can. Meanwhile, Do-hoon received a case. When he opened the file, he realized it was Eugene. It made him panic, and the case is about the car accident. He didn't realize that Eugene had taken the blame for him, so he rushed to Eugene to ask what happened. Eugene said he was afraid that it would affect his work. She said she drove the car yesterday. She felt that the police must have made a mistake, because that night, Do-hoon told her that she hit a trash can. Do-hoon, who realized everything, didn't want to tell her the truth, because hit and run is punishable by 5 years in prison. Soon after, the police found Eugene again. According to the bloodstains on the car, she's a strong suspect, but Eugene still insisted that it was a trash can, because Do-hoon couldn't have lied to her. At the same time, Min Hyuk was surprised when he saw the suspect's profile, thinking that this woman is the same woman who drove the car last time, and he threw her a diamond ring that he didn't want. So he came to the police station. They bumped into each other. He asked Eugene if she was the hit-and-run victim. Now, Eugene just wants to find her boyfriend and find out what happened, but Min Hyuk, who's lost his mind, has taken Eugene for a murderer. He's strangling her. Just when Eugene was about to die, Min Hyuk threw her away. Then he punched the wall in anger. Blood was pouring out, but the pain in his heart was much worse. The police came and separated them. Facing Min Hyuk's anger, she believed it was all true. Then, Min Hyuk drove to the hospital. She found the hospital cleaner. He took the body of his unborn child. She cremated the body and buried the mother and child together. Then he turned around and left. At that moment, Eugene came to visit the deceased. When she saw the photo of the deceased, she didn't know what to do. She could only say sorry over and over again. The next day, Min Hyuk approached the prosecutor in charge of the case. He asked him why he was delaying the appeal. Do-hoon said he couldn't disclose anything while the case was under investigation, but what Min Hyuk didn't realize was, the man in front of him was the real murderer. At that moment, Min Hyuk's fiancé said, the dead pregnant woman was Min Hyuk's favorite. Then she left with a jealous look on her face. It turns out Min Hyuk was the son of a wealthy family. Marriage is a family business. That's why his family didn't approve of him marrying a poor girl. Soon after, the police summoned Eugene for questioning again, and the prosecutor was Do-hoon. They can only pretend that they don't know each other. At this moment, Do-hoon wants Eugene to tell the truth. The police outside think the evidence is strong enough to force her to confess. At night, Do-hoon looked at the photo with his girlfriend. An idea came to his mind. Not long after, Eugene received a call from Do-hoon. Do-hoon started to talk about his misfortune. He even brought out his parents. Yu Jing knew that it wasn't easy for him to come this far. At this moment, she also decided to take the blame for Du Hoon, so she packed her things overnight, because tomorrow is the day of the trial. When she woke up the next day, she realized that her father was gone. She rushed out to look for him. At the same time, Yu Jing was missing from the courtroom. As time ran out, the judge decided to make an urgent arrest. Yu Jing was visiting her late mother with her father. She was lying on her mother's grave. She had a lot of grievances in her heart, but she didn't know how to talk about them. When she and her father arrived at the door of their house, Yu Jing realized something was wrong when she saw the police car. She didn't want her father to see her being arrested. She told him to go home, but the police handcuffed her in front of him. This made the father panic. He didn't understand what crime his daughter had committed. He could only watch as his daughter was taken to the car by the police. As the car went away, the father's headache came back. Yu Jing in the car was in a state of anxiety, but no matter how she shouted, she could only see her father kneeling on the ground in pain. Then she came to the police station. First of all, search and check. Then we took photos of the suspects to collect information. At night, Yu Jing's father approached Du Hoon. He asked him what happened, but Du Hoon said that Yu Jing killed someone with his car. He didn't say he did it himself, but Yu Jing's father insisted that he didn't believe him. Du Hoon said that he would find a way to help Yu Jing get off the hook. He told Yu Jing's father not to come to him. He couldn't let anyone know about his relationship with Yu Jing. But what Du Hoon didn't know was, on the other side, Min Hyuk already knew about his relationship with Yu Jing. The next day, Min Hyuk found Du Hoon. He told him that he knew about Yu Jing's relationship with him. He advised him not to ruin his career because of love. Then he left. He left Du Hoon in a state of panic. Then he went to the interrogation room. He wanted Yu Jing to turn himself in and get his sentence reduced. But Yu Jing, who was obsessed with her father, couldn't listen to Du Hoon until Du Hoon promised to take care of her father. Yu Jing then let go of her heart. At the same time, Yu Jing's father came to Du Hoon's house. He told Yu Jing's story. He wants to settle the matter through a private settlement. Yu Jing's future mother-in-law, who has always looked down on Yu Jing, she gave all her money. Yu Jing's father was very touched. As soon as he left, Du Hoon's father praised his wife for doing a good job, but then the husband realized that his wife didn't want to be dragged down by Yu Jing. When Yu Jing's father came to the deceased's mother, the deceased's mother didn't accept the money at all. She even apologized on her knees. He asked for forgiveness. If Yu Jing knew that her father was apologizing on his knees because of her, I don't know if she would choose love. Soon after, Yu Jing was sentenced to 5 years in prison. She was placed in a women's prison. During a break, the guards decided to teach her a lesson. She was so scared. She stood up. The woman next to her told the bully she was in a hit and run. Then the jailer took off her socks and stuffed them in Yu Jing's mouth. They beat her up. No matter how hard Yu Jing struggled, it didn't help. The next day, when they were doing morning exercises, Yu Jing suddenly fainted. But even so, she was handcuffed. And then, the doctor told her she was pregnant. When she heard that, she was shocked. And when Min Hyuk got the news, it feels like the game is getting more and more fun, because he wants revenge. Du Hoon also knew that Yu Jing was pregnant with his child. It left him at a loss as to what to do. A few months passed by. The baby was born. When Yu Jing saw the baby, she smiled happily on her face. But the baby's nightly cries annoyed her cellmate. When she tried to hit him again with a pillow, she was defended by a woman. And this woman was the only one who didn't bully Yu Jing. The guards also loved the baby very much. But when the guards asked her who the father was, she shook her head and wouldn't say. After the guards left, the prison guards started to come after her again and terrorized the child. The child was so scared that she cried. The guards came. They were able to leave. That day, while the men were working, a fellow inmate suggested that they should send the child out. They can't stay in prison forever. But Yu Jing thought it would be better for the child to stay with his mother. To her surprise, her father has gone crazy since she left. Du Hoon also felt guilty. Du Hoon has been taking care of her father, but as time went by, he got tired of it. When he came home, Mom scolded him. She told him not to have anything to do with the Yu Jing family, because she's a murderer. She doesn't deserve to be her daughter-in-law. And she told him to forget about Yu Jing, to find him a new daughter-in-law. While Yu Jing is in prison, she has to work hard every day. She has to take care of her children. When she hears her cellmates talking too loudly, she would cover her child's ears to avoid being woken up. The next day, Min Hyuk decided to ask the guards to give the mother and child a special treat. That day, the prosecutor came to the prison to volunteer, and he was the father of the child. When it was time to line up Yu Jing and his son, Du Hoon made a big bowl. Then he looked at his son. He was so cute. He smiled warmly, but she didn't know that a bigger conspiracy was waiting for her. At night, she covered her son with a mended quilt. Suddenly, the guards came in. She was so scared that she put away her needle and thread. It was a routine check. The guards told them all to stand outside the door. Then they took off their shoes and did a full body search, and the baby cried out in fear. Soon after, the guards found the needle and thread. She forfeited a month's bonus for her work. The next day when she was about to take a shower, she saw her former bully being beaten up by several people. The kind-hearted girl grabbed a broom and rushed over. When they saw her, they turned to her. The guards rushed over to quell the fight. The guards said she was nosy, but inwardly, he had changed his mind about her. Then she saw the TV showing the prosecutor Do-hoon. She couldn't help but giggle. The inmate next to her asked her what she was so happy about, but Eugene said it was because she made the right choice. It turns out that Do-hoon killed someone with his car. She took the blame for her boyfriend, because she didn't want to delay his career, and now she sees that he's so successful. How can she not be happy? Suddenly, the guards came in and said, "A man wants to see her." They all thought he was Eugene's favorite. The guards even put lipstick on her. Before leaving, Eugene asked her cellmate to take care of her children. When she arrived at the interview room, she realized it was Min Hayek, so she tried to turn around and leave. Min Hayek warned her to live a good life inside. He warned her to live a good life in there. Eugene didn't know why he was doing this to her. When she returned to work, the baby was crying. When she went to comfort him, the guards came again. He told her to step back. Eugene looked confused. The guard came forward, then he undid his shirt, and found the child covered in bruises. This made her panic. Because she was fine before, she was just going out, but the guards thought she did it, and took the child away by force. Eugene desperately tried to explain that she didn't do it, but the guards didn't believe her. She saw her son leaving. She lost her mind. Since her son was born, she had already considered him as her life. How could she hit him? Facing Eugene's cries, the guard gave her a blow. The pain made her fall to the ground. After the guards left, Eugene struggled to get up and asked her cellmate, who was helping to take care of her child, "What's going on here?" But the cellmate said, "Why are you asking me about your own child?" Eugene couldn't believe that she was such a person. That's when the jailbird stepped in. She knew she was behind all this. Eugene was afraid of an accident. She grabbed the iron from the jailer's hand. When they were fighting for it, the cellmate pushed the two of them, and Eugene was unfortunately crushed on the iron. She was soon rushed to the hospital, but at this point, she had forgotten all about the pain. She just wanted to know where her baby was. She couldn't understand why everyone didn't tell her. When the doctor undid her clothes, they found that her skin was badly burned, but Eugene was now concerned about her child. She thought she had done something wrong. She desperately apologized, but no one paid any attention to her. Just after bandaging her wound, she immediately called her boyfriend. Do-hoon thought it was about her parole, but Eugene cut him off. She begged Do-hoon to help her find her child. Do-hoon asked her what happened. After she told him everything, Do-hoon told her not to worry. He'll do everything he can to find the child. After that, there was no response from the other side. Eugene became even more scared. She shook the phone as she was told, but as time ran out, the guards told her to come out. She doesn't know what to do now. She could only put all her hopes on Do-hoon, so she was put in a room alone. Then the guards came to Eugene's previous place. They took away everything about the child. The cellmate who hurt Eugene's child came back from outside. The guards held her down, but the guards were nearby. She had no choice but to let go. But the woman said with a cocky face that she will be transferred to a special prison. Maybe that's the advantage of framing Eugene. At this moment, Eugene doesn't even eat. She kept singing the lullaby that she used to put her son to sleep. The song echoed in the corridor, but the child is gone. 5 years have passed. She took off her prison uniform, and all this time, she never found the child. She changed her clothes, and walks out the door. Today is the day of her release, and the road to revenge was about to begin. But soon she got the news. Her son had died of sepsis. She went out in a frenzy to find him, although there were so many children, but there was no sign of her son. She desperately screamed his name. The pain of losing her son made her feel like the sky was falling. Then, Do-hoon took her to the river. He told her that his son's ashes were scattered here. He was afraid to face his son's death, so he never came back. Meanwhile, her future in-laws are still complaining about Eugene. On the other side, Eugene looks at her son's photo. She felt that she had wronged her son. She blames herself for everything. She's really miserable. She took the blame for her boyfriend for 5 years. When she came out, she lost her child, and the father became a fool. The next day, she went to the supermarket alone to buy ingredients for the cake, because it was her son's birthday, and Min Hayek was following her. He somehow felt differently about an enemy. In the evening, Eugene took the cake to the creek. She apologized to her son, and Min Hayek was there to see it. Eugene fell to the ground in pain. He couldn't stop his tears, knowing that her son loved stars. She embroidered stars on the quilt. She turned around and gently touched the dirt with her hand. It was like touching her own child, because her child's ashes were scattered here. She stayed here all night. The next day, she took the soil home, and put it in a glass jar. Then she put her son's picture in every corner of the room, as if he was always with her. After organizing everything, she went to the nursing home to take her father home. Looking at her father's demented appearance, her eyes instantly moistened. After settling her father down, she went to the deceased's mother to apologize, but the deceased's mother poured a bucket of dirty water over her head. She asked her how she could come back. Eugene could only keep apologizing. When she got home, Eugene realized that Do-hoon was holding his father's hand. He was trying to put the anti-tag on the table. He wanted to hang a tag on his father's hand to prevent him from getting lost. Finally, with Eugene's help, he finally put the license plate on his father's hand. Afterwards, Eugene took a bath. She asked her boyfriend why he didn't come home yet, but Do-hoon kept looking at her with a lustful look, so he undid his tie and kissed her. But Eugene stopped him, but he didn't give up, until he saw Eugene's wound. He stopped. A few days later, Eugene's father was found dead accidentally, and it was all done by her favorite boyfriend. Just the day before, Eugene realized that her father had disappeared, so she went to the police station to file a report, and her boyfriend drove to look for her father. Luckily, he found him on the side of the road. When they got into the car, Eugene's father told the truth that Eugene took the blame for him. It turns out that on that day, Eugene's father saw him driving the car, and Do-hoon didn't want to expose the truth, so he made a secret decision. So the next day, Eugene didn't find her father. She was relieved when she got a call from the police. When she arrived at the scene, the doctor lifted the white cloth. It was her father lying there. She touched his cheek with her hand. When she saw her father's worn-out feet, she couldn't hold back any longer. She didn't understand why he left so quickly. At his funeral, the only people who came were a few friends from prison, but there was no sign of her boyfriend. Until the day of his funeral, Do-hoon showed up. Then the two of them went to the big tree. Eugene realized why he didn't show up. It's because he's afraid that people will know that he's the murderer's boyfriend, and that it would affect her career. Facing their unseen love affair, Eugene is also tired. She took the initiative to break up with Do-hoon. When she got home, Eugene picked up her father's clothes. The child is dead. The father is dead. Her boyfriend broke up with her. There's nothing left for her in this world. On the other side, Min Hyuk, who couldn't find Eugene, went to her old cake store. She found Eugene, who had already taken poison and killed herself. Then, he rushed to the hospital carrying Eugene. Looking at Eugene on the hospital bed, the man he loved so much because of his hatred seemed to have come to his senses. While Min Hyuk was wiping her face, Eugene suddenly opened his eyes. Min Hyuk didn't want her to see him. He blocked her view with a tissue. Then she fainted again. Seeing that Eugene was no longer in critical condition, he turned around and left. Not long after Min Hyuk left, Eugene woke up. Looking at the money Min Hyuk paid for her medical bills, she thought it was Do-hoon. With nowhere else to go, she came to the jailbird. Ever since Eugene helped her in prison, they've been good friends ever since. In fact, she is also a bitter woman. She has a son. Because of a congenital disease, her in-laws put all the blame on her. They threw her out. On this day, Eugene was looking for a job, suddenly saw her cellmate beating her child in prison, so she instinctively chased after him. She accidentally hit a woman on a bicycle. As Eugene was helping her to pick up her bike, the woman suddenly saw someone. She was so scared that she ran away. It was the police. Eugene looked around in panic. The woman has disappeared, so she was arrested again for advertising illegal information. The police said they finally caught her, but Eugene explained that she didn't do it herself. Then the police recognized Eugene. She's the one who did the hit and run before, so no matter how Eugene explained, the police didn't believe her. That day, Eugene and her sister came to the family of a plutocrat to sell their products. Unbeknownst to them, this house is owned by Min Hyuk. At that moment, Min Hyuk's stepmother recognized Eugene. He called Eugene to a room alone. She said she was a toad trying to eat a swan. Suddenly, Min Hyuk came out of the room. He asked her what she was doing here. Her stepmother said, "Why are you with such a woman?" Eugene was about to explain. Min Hyuk stopped her. He pulled her away and turned around. When she got to the door, she ran into Do-hoon again. Eugene tried to get away, but Min Hyuk provoked him. But Do-hoon didn't dare to say a word, because he didn't dare to admit his relationship with Eugene. Then the three of them left the place. When she was going home from work, suddenly she saw Hai Min, who had bullied her child. Hai Min was so scared that she ran away. Eugene chased after her. Finally, they caught up with her in an alley. The two of them immediately fought together. Eugene hit her on the head like crazy. Then he sat down on the ground. He told her that his son was dead. When she said that, Hai Min was also stunned. Eugene asked her why she did it. Hai Min said that someone didn't want you to get out of jail on parole. She asked her if she had a grudge against someone. Eugene instantly thought of Min Hyuk's revenge against her. He's also the boyfriend of the deceased. It felt like he was the only one who would do this to her. The next day, Eugene came to help the victim's mother again. Even though she was splashed with water last time, she didn't complain. But the victim's mother still didn't like her. Even so, she didn't give up. And Min Hyuk saw it all. He felt that such a kind person, how could she be a fugitive from justice? so he found a friend who investigated the car accident 5 years ago. He found out one thing. There were footprints at the scene, and before he could compare them, Eugene admitted that she did it all. The friend said that Do-hoon was also investigating the case recently. That's what he said. Min Hyuk felt again that it's not that simple. On the other hand, Do-hoon is frantically driving to the surveillance room because he knows that Min Hyuk is investigating the car accident 5 years ago. If someone finds out, everything he's working on will go down the drain, so he had to destroy all the clues. When he looked at the surveillance of that night, he froze, because there was a car that captured him getting out of the main car, and he panicked. He looked around and realized no one was there. He deleted the data completely. On the other side, Eugene was getting ready for bed. He accidentally found a bill in his father's pocket. The date of the note was the day his father died. In order to find out what he was doing on that day, she took the clothes and went to the front of the store. By asking the owner, a man picked him up in a car that day. Confused, she went to her boyfriend, Do-hoon. She asked him if he was the one who picked up her father. Do-hoon denied having seen her father, but Eugene didn't believe him. Do-hoon didn't explain. He drove off in his car. Suddenly, Hai-min ran out from the side. She told Eugene that the person who stopped her parole was the man. The news hit her like a bolt from the blue. In order to verify it further, she went to the front of the store alone. She found a camera, so she asked the store owner for the surveillance camera from that day, and the camera showed Do-hoon picking up her father. She couldn't believe it was true. The next day, Eugene went to the company where Do-hoon worked. She dragged him towards the door, but Do-hoon shook her off. Then he had the security guards kick her out, until Do-hoon was driving home. Eugene forced the car to stop. He had no choice. Do-hoon had to let her into the car. When Eugene asked him again if he had seen his father, Do-hoon then confessed. She lied that her father had to get off the bus in the middle of the ride. However, Eugene didn't believe it. He didn't expect Do-hoon to get angry. Then she told him that she threw her father out of the car. She even blamed Eugene for her stubbornness. Knowing all this, Eugene asked him to stop the car, but Do-hoon didn't care about her. Then they started to fight for the steering wheel. It's obvious, Eugene is ready to die with him. They had no choice. Do-hoon had to stop the car. Eugene pulled him out of the car. He told him to apologize to his father, but Do-hoon not only didn't apologize. Instead, Do-hoon said that it was all because Eugene was pestering him. Eugene slapped him again. He said that he would make his life miserable. When he heard that, Do-hoon was so scared that he went back to the car. Eugene's firm eyes told him the road to revenge was about to begin. So the next day, at the company meeting, Min Hyuk showed up with Eugene. In front of the entire board of directors, he announced that Eugene would join his company. After the meeting, Min Hyuk's fiancé, Se-yeon, questioned her about the purpose of pestering Min Hyuk. Before Eugene could say anything, Do-hoon came over. He mocked Eugene for trying to use Min Hyuk to get to the top. However, Eugene mocked Do-hoon for using this method to get to where she is today. They couldn't believe it. This is coming from the cowardly Eugene. Suddenly, Min Hyuk also came and took Eugene away. Just as they were getting into the car, Se-yeon also followed. She saw the two of them being close to each other. It made her angry. Min Hyuk told Eugene, if you want to make Do-hoon suffer more, you have to be more ruthless. After they left, Do-hoon was in front of Se-yeon to provoke her and Min Hyuk's relationship. He said he has a way to separate them. Then, Do-hoon started spreading rumors that Min Hyuk's father was seriously ill, and that the company was in a state of financial difficulty, and Do-hoon was selling Min Hyuk's restaurant. He wanted to sell the hotel Min Hyuk was running. Although he's the son of the company, he has very few shares in the company. He had no choice but to approach Se-yeon. He hoped that she would help him keep the restaurant, but Se-yeon asked him to leave Eugene. On the other side, Eugene is going to tell the press that Do-hoon is the real murderer. In the heat of the moment, Do-hoon's mom told the press that her grandson is not dead. Eugene was in tears. Do-hoon's mom gave her grandson to a distant relative. Eugene looked at her son's photo. Although it's been a long time, she recognized him as her son, and Do-hoon's mom thought it was for her son's own good. But Eugene knew that she was afraid that this child would jeopardize his son's future. Eugene asked her like crazy where she sent the child. The next day, he went to the address given by Do-hoon's mom, and came to the family who adopted her son. She immediately recognized the child in front of her as her own. Eugene was afraid of hurting the child. He didn't rush to recognize him, until her son's adoptive mom was chatting with someone else. The boy was playing alone. Suddenly, the ball rolled in Eugene's direction. Eugene couldn't hold back and stopped his son. Looking at his son's familiar face, Eugene took him into his arms. The boy was so scared that he cried out for his mom. In response, the foster mom thought she was a human trafficker. She hurriedly pulled her son over to her, until Eugene called out her son's maiden name. The foster mom instantly realized that she was here to take the child away, so she took the boy and ran away. Eugene wanted to chase after her, but she was stopped by Do-hoon. Looking at her son, Do-hoon said he didn't know that his son was given away by his mother. Eugene was so angry that he slapped him across the face. Then he scolded him for knowing. When you heard about the death of your son, you didn't even go to see him. Do-hoon was powerless to rebut Euging's accusation. When he got home, Euging told his friends about it. The elder sister said she had to get the child back. Seeing Euging crying so hard, suddenly, my friend remembered that, when he was in prison, he met a master forger. He asked him to find out who forged the child's death certificate. On the other side, Do-hoon came home and started accusing his mom of doing this. Suddenly, the police came to the house. It turned out that Yu-young had filed a lawsuit against her for falsifying the child's death certificate. That's how it happened. Do-hoon's mom was arrested and sent to jail. Euging told her that he was going to sue Do-hoon too. He told her that he'd take Do-hoon to court as well. Then he turned around and left. When Euging returned home, the foster mom knelt down in front of her. She begged her not to take her son away from her. But how could Euging agree to her own child? After 5 years of raising her child, the foster mom has already treated the child as her own. Euging told her that she wouldn't give up her child. At this moment, the two mothers didn't know what to do. Then, Euging went to her son's room. Looking at the room's furnishings and the child's toys, she knew that they really loved their son. Euging asked her if she had a quilt embroidered with stars. The foster mom brought the quilt to Euging. The foster mom said that the child won't sleep without this quilt. Euging knew that she had made this quilt for her son. At that moment, her son came back from school. She saw her son calling someone else his mother. She felt terrible inside. The boy watched his mother cry. He thought it was Euging who was bullying him, so he wanted to teach Euging a lesson for his mom. Seeing her son being so protective of himself, this made the foster mom feel even more sad. Euging was also in tears. On the weekend, Euging came to visit her son again. Seeing the family so happy and joyful, she also smiled. The foster mom also saw Euging. She brought her son to her. Euging held her son's hand. He told her that he was a good friend of his mom. Seeing her son smile, Euging knew that he was happy. Do-hoon saw this father-son moment that should have been his own. This moment made him think a lot. Seeing his family living happily ever after, that should have been his own. Euging told him, "You're the one who caused all this." Do-hoon fell to his knees in pain. He slapped himself. At this moment, he finally realized that he was wrong. He could have had a happy family. Now he's ruined it all. And Euging will never forgive him. Back home, Euging decided to give up the custody of the child. Although his friends don't really understand. But Euging saw their happy family today. She doesn't want her child to experience the pain of separation again. In the end, Do-hoon, awakened by his father's love, accepted Euging's lawsuit. He also confessed to the hit-and-run case 5 years ago, and the death of Euging's father. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. 1 year later, Euging reopened her and her father's cake store. One day, she found a man in the store, and he is Min Hyuk. This is the end of the movie. If you're interested, please like the movie. See you next time.